Hi, I'm Nadia Okamoto, and I'm running for Cambridge City Council. This past year has taught me that living in a community that prioritizes and values social progress and diversity is not something that can be taken for granted. I grew up with quite a bit of uncertainty and instability in my childhood, and Cambridge has always been a safe place my family would return to, regardless of what we had going on at home. It truly became a home even in times when we weren't really sure what that was, or we didn't really have a home to go back to that we felt safe. I'm running for young people to have direct representation and trust in their local government, for families struggling to find and secure affordable housing, and for progress towards more sustainable living. I'm 19 years old and I'm a current sophomore at Harvard College. My background is in nonprofit management and grassroots organizing. I'm the founding executive director of Period, the Menstrual Movement, which is the largest youth-run NGO in women's health now. We have about 110 campus chapters registered at universities and high schools around the U.S. and abroad. We have worked in policy from the local to the federal level to work on things like repealing the sales tax on period products because they're considered a luxury item, trying to encourage food stamps to cover period products, get period products in public restrooms, public schools, and prisons. I started the organization when I was 16 years old after my family experienced what it was like to live without a home of our own, and I was searching for my identity to feel empowered in my voice, coming out of a time that was confusing for me as a teenage girl, regarding my privilege, but then also being stuck in an abusive relationship that left me feeling quite powerless. Those experiences that I grew up with have taught me to cherish community, taught me to cherish inclusivity and the feeling of home. And this concept of home is something I want to protect for all Cambridge residents, regardless of their race, their religion, or their socioeconomic status. And I think that the focus for Cambridge over the next 2 years is going to be preserving this economic diversity and protecting our citizens, especially in this national time of uncertainty. It's more important than ever before to unite and take action at a local level. I think that our revolution should endorse me because this whole organization is about revitalizing and reclaiming democracy, making sure that the people representing are representative of the people, and pushing the boundary on what politics is. This is a forward movement of Bernie Sanders movement and call to action of young people. I'm 19 years old. I'm running in a city where 35% of the demographic is under the age of 25, 34% of the adult population is enrolled in the university in some way, yet we have no student or youth representation, and we never have. And if there's any place to elect someone like me who's a ultra progressive young candidate with a lot of energy and a lot of passion for the issues the city is facing, I think it should be me, and I really would love to work with you. One of the core pillars of my policy platform is pushing for more community-minded university relations. And this is anything from pushing for universities to give back to the community in terms of access to arts and culture, access to opportunities to learn at these institutions, or access to even technology for students here. And I think that there's a great need for that, especially when it comes to leveling the playing field amongst students, especially at the high school level at Cambridge, Ridge, and Latin. And this goes all the way to pushing universities to think about how they're building, quite literally, in Cambridge as well. When you look at the next 2 years, the biggest decisions around real estate happen to be with universities. We're looking at the Volpe site, which is going to be the largest tower in Cambridge, adding about over 1,400 new units of residential and commercial spaces. And we're also looking at new energy for graduate students, mobilizing, pushing universities to house more graduate students, and there's already a petition that we're seeing that they're trying to embed with the Volpe site. And so when you look at affordable housing, which is one of the biggest challenges in Cambridge right now, I truly see an opportunity to work with the universities, because if you push universities to meet 100% of the demand for graduate students, that doesn't mean housing all the graduate students or forcing graduate students to live in university-owned housing, but meeting the demand, because the demand is there for quality and affordable at or below market rate housing for graduate students. You would open up maybe over 10,000 units that are currently short-term rentals that could be longer-term solutions for Cambridge families. And so As you can see, I think there's a plethora of opportunity all the way from universities giving back because they are the most well-endowed institutions in the world for academia, and they're constantly innovating in the spirit of urban planning and sustainability and climate change preparedness, and those are all things Cambridge could benefit in, and that the universities haven't taken a step to give back to the community in yet, or giving back tangible resources to students and youth here, all the way to being a part of city planning. I think that there is the danger of going into this and knowing that they are nonprofits, they consider themselves separate from the community, but I have this fundamental relationship with universities as a member of the student body, as someone who is in the community, and we've seen student mobilization makes a difference, and I want to be part of that, and I want to help lead that partnership. So the topic I'm going to speak on of these options is the money in politics question. I am a strong proponent of public financing of campaigns, especially at the municipal level. In Cambridge, the average amount spent on a municipal election campaign is upwards of $70,000, and that is money that I don't think is representative of candidates who truly are experiencing a lot of the challenges Cambridge residents are. And I think that if we are choosing to push forward this idea that democracy and representative democracy more so is all about electing people who are motivated for the right reasons and are in this because they can empathize with a lot of the challenges of the community, specifically affordable housing and income inequality, I think that it should be more accessible to not only run, but run a winning campaign in this municipal race. And I hope that along the campaign trail we are not living in a system that pushes candidates to spend hours upon end on the phone fundraising or having to make decisions on who they're taking money from, but instead pushing them to think about who they're serving, why they're serving, and trying to listen to constituents as much as possible. For very personal reasons, I also feel strongly about this because I am a candidate who is someone who is running because I feel very strongly about these issues, and I am prioritizing my time to spend talking to as many constituents as possible, which is why my evenings from 4 to 8 p.m., 1 to 6 p.m. on weekends is taken up by canvassing and talking to thousands of constituents, knocking on hundreds of doors a day, asking people what they care about. And those are the conversations I want to be having with Cambridge residents. I want to be asking them, what do you care about? Why do you care about it? What do you think the city council could be doing better to support you, not asking them for money. And I'm running against other candidates who are able to call their friends and call the people every political consultant will just say, call the people and ask for money. And the people I know are young people who barely have a source of income. My family is we're low income. I work multiple jobs. Last year I had to work 6. This year I'm working 3 to try to support my family. And I think that we want to be electing people regardless of their socioeconomic status and representing people regardless of their socioeconomic status. I'm not taking any money from special interest or development dollars, and I seriously hope that, my limited funds, right now we're at about 7, is not going to hinder the viability of my campaign, because I know I'm in this for the right reasons, and I really think that if I'm able to be elected, I can do some serious work here, especially on income inequality. I want to close off by saying that I'm not only applying to this endorsement because I want your support or I want your votes. That would be great come November 7th, but I'm applying for this endorsement because I truly believe in the mission of our revolution, of setting new precedents in politics through a progressive agenda, pushing for the bounds on, what it means to be a politician or what politics is, reclaiming and revitalizing democracy. And I think that when I take all of those components of the mission, I see it very closely aligning with my campaign. This campaign is daring. There are other people, other constituents, other candidates who will look at us and say, great that you're running, so cool, but you're 19 and you're a student. And I say, yes, but that's like a pretty significant portion, almost 35%, that you're discounting if you're saying that I'm too young or I don't have enough life experience, because I have work experience and I have the personal experience that make me really passionate and really strongly be able to empathize with a lot of the needs of the community. And when I think about all of that together, I see that our mission and my mission on my campaign, but also your mission as Our Revolution, really closely align. And I'm applying for this endorsement not only to work through Election Day, but I really want to be able to work with this group moving forward. Hopefully, I can work with you guys in the capacity as a city councilor to be able to continue to mobilize and push forward a progressive agenda in city council, especially doing things around, closing the income inequality gap, leveling the playing field for employment and educational opportunities. I want this to be an ongoing partnership. I don't see this stopping on November 7th because that's Election Day. I see this as a partnership of continuing to push this glass ceiling forward, continuing to try to bring voice and a seat to the table for a demographic that hasn't had a seat at the table before. And that includes young people, that includes people who are from backgrounds that aren't, always monetarily comfortable. I think that we have a huge opportunity to push forward a new precedent of what it means to participate and what it means to be civically engaged. And I think that with the amount of young people in Cambridge, you would be surprised by the number of students and young people who don't even know that they can vote. And so I think we have a responsibility to showing young people they can participate, they have rights, and they should act upon them.